There she is. Right, all right, you lot. I'm back again. Another old waffling old man story. But I thought it'd be a much more fun thing to do to bring Auntie. So, all right.
Dad!
Auntie! So everybody's bored of my stories, but everybody wants to know about the Kim Wilde story. Everybody asks, every interview I do, tell us the story about Kim.
Yeah.
And so who better to ask than you? So we're going to ask you. We want
Straight
you
from
to
the
tell the
horse's
story.
mouth.
Exactly. Well, I can win it. So go on. You just tell the story. But what was the story? Why did we even end up on your radar? I guess is even the start. I don't even know why we did. Actually, we must have bumped it. We must have been there at some point.
Let's wind it right back. First of all, you did the best cover version of Kiss in America that any band have ever done and will ever do. And of course, that had come onto my radar, and I just thought this band are freaking awesome. And then I studied Twitter at some point, and then we kind of met on Twitter, didn't we, Dad?
It was Twitter. Because our people were badger. I could see them doing it. They were all badgering you, saying, if we get this single going again, will you play a show with them? I could see them giving you a load of hassle on there. So
okay,
I messaged you as how I saw it.
There you go. So then we struck up a relationship on Twitter, didn't we? You and I.
Yeah.
And then we just decided, well, it's about time we met. I can't remember why we thought that was important, but we decided it was.
Then we did.
I think we were going to talk about doing a project together or something. I can't remember. But anyway, we decided to meet at the bar in King's Cross, didn't we?
We did.
And I was so excited about meeting you at King's Cross in that bar that I actually managed to sit and be waiting for you outside that bar 24 hours before I was supposed to be there.
Which is the first thing I remember. I know where I was. I was in Manchester. And I got a phone call. And it's the first time I'd ever spoken to you. And all I got was a, where are you? I'm in Manchester. And that was it. You were in London already, and I was. Yeah, I know. Amazing.
So then I just felt a bit stupid, really, and I sent you a picture of me, sort of like going like this. And then, anyway, so the next day we met up and we had a good old chat, didn't we? I had a nice glass of red wine, and you had something similar. And I think, we started putting a plan together. I'm not quite sure if that's what we talked about.
I think wine was obviously first and foremost on the agenda. And yeah, it was a loose plan, wasn't it? I think the loose plan was, do you fancy playing Download with us? Was the very loose plan. We were booked for Download, and I was chancing my arm and saying, would you?
Yeah. And then I said, yeah. And then it turned out I had another gig that day up where near the gig was, Download was. So I did both gigs that day. I did an 80s gig with like ABC and Nick Kershaw and Heaven 17 and the usual 80s crowd, Belinda Carlisle. And then I nipped over and I hung out with you guys at Download, which was awesome. I loved it.
It was a proper do though, wasn't it?
And I learned, watch out, Grandma, here comes the lawnmower, check Grandma, here comes the lawnmower.
It was brilliant. It was like, I mean, of all the things, I think there's a big thing at Download because people are always bringing people out, and to a degree they're a bit obvious sometimes and stuff like that. But I don't think anybody saw that one coming. You could even hear the hush because when I said it was you and you were coming out, you kind of felt everybody go, "Ooh," and there's this little drop with people going, "Really?" And then, "Oh." And it just went off the scale. It was tremendous.
It really did. One of my all-time favorite stage experiences. And oh my God, and the clowns were running around, costumes up the yin yang. Oh God, and I just about remembered all the words, and I could have stayed on there all afternoon.
Well, you did better than me because I never remember my own words. So if you stand a chance of getting them right. You're a consummate pro, you are.
Oh, you're the consummate pro. You're a brilliant performer. You're wonderful. You're a great entertainer, and you're full of fun. And you go surfing in the crowd and everything. You're a brave one.
It was just a great thing to do, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And So that then took us to another level, didn't it? I'm always one for chancing my arm, as you've now worked out. So we did that, which
Yeah.
was, and the band will still say it's probably their favourite thing to have done as well, was that. So it really was a special one for us, that. But then we had another idea and
Yes.
chanced my arm again. And I remember your manager's face was one of delight when I heard this one. But we said, we've got an idea for a song, for a Christmas
Yes.
song.
Oh, yes.
And thought, well, you know what, we may as well like chuck that one at you as well. Would you fancy doing a song? And stupidly, you said yes again.
Yes.
But
I'm not very good at saying no to you guys. I'm not quite sure what this is. But anyway, you said something about a Christmas song and you sent over some delightful lyrics. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Having Christmas round the, round the tree and, all really lovely festive vibe.
Correct.
I felt it just needed just that little push over the cliff. And I said to Rick, who had just created his recording studio, Doghouse Studios. We'd never recorded anything in that studio. I said to Rick, the first thing we record together, it's got to be auspicious. It's got to be special. It's got to be fantastic. I said, we're going to create a Christmas masterpiece with Lawnmower Death, and we're going to call it Fuck You Christmas.
If you could have seen our face, honestly, when we wrote them lyrics, or I wrote those, I deliberately didn't want to do something that you wouldn't do. So I did write some nice lyrics.
You did.
I think that's the whole point. And
Yeah.
we sent it down to you, and it came back with that on it. Fucking hell, what's she done? We honestly thought we'd broken you or something. It was like, oh my God. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. So
It's true to say I haven't been the same since I bumped into you guys. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I haven't been quite the same. And thank God for that.
And it was our pleasure.
Anyway, so we made a really fun video.
That was a top day. That was a really, in fact, it was 2 days, wasn't it?
Oh my God, you remember? I
2 days.
I wanted to buy you guys some beers.
Yeah.
So I sent you a text and I said, guys, what beers do you want? I mean, I'm standing in Tesco's looking at all these beers and I don't buy beer. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I mean, I know blokes like certain beers and they hate other beers, and I don't want to buy the band beer they hate. So I text you and I said, what beer do you want? I'm standing there looking at the beers, and you text back and you say, proper job. And I'm thinking, yes, I know, of course I'm doing a proper job. Of course, I've got you guys coming to the house. Of course I'm going to do a proper job. I said, yes, of course I'm going to do a proper job. What beer do you want? Proper job. And then I realised there's a beer called Proper Job.
Naturally. And what a brew it is.
Yes, it is.
You know, I will be synonymous forever now with you and Proper Job, because they're the two things. But yeah, it was lovely. Do you know what? It was even better for us. We still talk about this. When we came to your house, it was possibly one of the most surreal things for a band like us. I mean, coming to your house is fairly surreal anyway. I mean, that was an oddity in its own right, in the best possible lovely way. But that was odd for us, getting a big day out and going around Kim Wall's house and all that kind of thing. Then you got us beer. And then you bought us pork pie and you made us packed lunches. And they all still talk about the fact that you sent them home with a packed lunch, which is absolutely brilliant. And then bizarrely, Tony Hadley walks in. And it's like, I'm sure it's like this in your life all of the time. You know, varying people of great note walk into your house on a daily basis. But for us, it was like, well, and it's like, I'm waiting for Timmy Mallet to turn up. And, and what's going on?
I totally had forgotten about Tony Hadley turning up. And I remember you doing that photograph with him. It's bloody hilarious.
Well, he just left Spandau. So we thought, well, we'll have some of that. Well, let's stick a rumour out that he's joined Lawnmower instead. As if he's going to have joined Lawnmower. But he was just brilliant. I mean,
brilliant.
I just presume it's like that in your world all the time, obviously. Kim!
Dad, remember when I came up north to that lovely recording studio and we were all rehearsing for Download?
I know what you're
and
saying.
Literally, as we're rehearsing, there is someone on a lawnmower outside coming towards the studio on a ride-on lawnmower, and I thought they're winding me up.
No, it was brilliant. That was Andy Sneap's studio. So Andy, he's the guitarist in Judas Priest now. So it was Andy's place, and that was his dad. But nobody had asked him. He just suddenly went past on a ride-on lawnmower.
On the lawnmower. And then, of course, one of my all-time favourite photo shoots was actually on my sit-on lawnmower in my garden.
That was a hoot. Yeah, that was brilliant. That was all part of the same bizarre day for us. Sitting in your garden doing photos on sit-on lawnmowers.
Yeah, and we bought the bunny costume and the clown costume. And my daughter got in one and her boyfriend got in the other one. Happy days, Pete.
Beyond happy. Beyond happy. They're the bestest of the bestest days for us.
Oh, great days. And there's more great days to come. Raise your snails.
Come on, let's have it. I really hope there are when they let us out of this godforsaken plague that we're in the middle of at the moment. Maybe we can go and have a bit more fun.
Yeah. I'll get my W back. I've got to get that back.
Yeah, everybody needs a W back in their lives.
Yeah, I do. I really do. So
I'm going to tell you one more story because I don't think I've told you this, but this is how bizarre and synonymous we have become with each other now. A few years ago, I went to a gig in Manchester, and Eddie Clark, who was the guitarist in Motorhead, Fast Eddie, was on the bill. So he was supporting Saxon, and I'd gone along. And a mate of mine was singing for his band that night. And he came out front. He said, "Oh, Eddie's heard you here. Will you come back and meet him?" Well, I'm total fanboy for Motorhead. I mean, just our band. Love Motorhead. So the chance to meet Eddie for me, it's the guy who wrote Ace of Spades. Of course, I want to go and meet him. So I'm not really excited and get taken backstage, go to meet Eddie. And he sat there in his dressing room on his own, get wheeled in, get introduced. And do you know the first words that came out of his mouth? He said, "I heard you played with Kim Wilde. What was it like?" That's how ridiculous this got.
You know what? I've got a lovely story about Lemmy because I did a German TV many years ago with Kirsty McCall, and I was standing backstage, and I was backstage, and he was in the dressing room next to me, and he invited me into his dressing room to drink vodka with him, and he had like these white plastic cups, and he poured me out a really long one. I had the girl from the record company who was acting sort of as my show, not chaperone. She was all a bit, and I go in there. He's got his feet up on the thing, and he's down in the vodka, and I'm having a few sips with him. But I wasn't much of a drinker in those days. I made up for that later on. And then I went out, and I was looking at Kirsty McCall. I was just standing backstage, peeking through the curtain, looking at her, and I felt someone come up behind me and kiss the back of my head, and then walk away. And I looked round, and I just saw Lemmy walking away. He'd just come up, kissed the back of my head, and then he walked away. Isn't that a beautiful story?
That is just glorious.
Isn't it?
It's Lem, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. I just was so... it was a beautiful moment, You don't have many of them, and, well, I do have some beautiful moments.
It is fair to say Lemmy has never kissed the back of my head, and that sadly will never happen now.
No, it won't. So now that's great. We get to share our Motorhead stories as well.
Hey, come on. Motorhead is the epicenter of the universe. So absolutely right. So I'm going to say thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming on here.
Well, can't wait for the album to come out, Pete. You and the guys have just done an amazing job. Raise Your Snails just sounds freaking awesome. The video is iconic. It'll go into rock history. It's like the best rock videos ever made. It's so cool.
Come on, you're too kind. But I'll take it all, obviously.
Yeah, bank that, boy. Bank it.
Noted. So we love you. We miss you. And obviously, fuck you, Christmas. Have a great one. We'll see you soon, Auntie.
All right, bye, Dad. Fuck you, Christmas.